Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we're back to Pinball FX2. Last time we did this Star Wars Masters of the Force pinball table. Wasn't expecting much and it did have some interesting ideas but did not play well. Which, sadly, even the good tables, for as few as we've run into so far, don't play well most of the time. It's like, I really haven't seen a table here that is great on every aspect. There's always at least a few flaws. Anyways, we're gonna do Earth Defense, which aliens attacking, just general theme, core game I imagine here. My guess is that Earth Defense, Mars, Excalibur, and Paranormal were all Season 2 of their core tables that they created, and then Epic Quest obviously looks like it's a licensed product. After we do that, well, they may even be Season 3, I guess, because we also have Shaman, Tesla, Eldorado, and V12, Sorcerer's Lair. Some of these are from Pinball FX1. I don't know which one. Let's hop into the game. That's the important thing, though. We'll even skip over the achievements since I forgot to look at them. So, not needing to conform to a license, all they have to do now is conform to aliens attacking, which opens the door for a giant robot, I guess. That makes some sense, and let's see, what do we see? We see with the giant robot there, that limits the number of ramps they can put on the table, kind of in a good way, because a lot of these tables have had too many ramps. The art is just humans fleeing and military people. This feels like it's gonna be one of those 60s, 70s style movies of aliens attacking. The green army man toy there, that's cool. A cross ramp back there, a sinking hole back there. It doesn't look like too much more. Let's go ahead and hop into the game. Get our favorite view. I've always had the personal feeling that if we ever did, that's interesting, the plunger was not launching the ball there. If we did ever come across the featureless gray aliens that we've seen in TV and such, that those were actually would be like genetically engineered creatures by a second set of aliens to survive in the rigors of space through years and years of traveling. It would certainly explain the lack of features. Of course, the easier explanation is that the gray aliens are just a figment of their imagination, and that's why they're featureless, is because imagination is not as imaginative as you would think. But speaking of this table, we're not seeing any little green men or gray aliens.
Zero Alpha is in
or
position.
Let's see. Apparently, I can hit any of these and decide where it's gonna go. That's an interesting, like, option of a gun.
Fantastic.
I earned the medal. So, as far as the sound effects, we're not hearing gunfire, we're not, like, hearing fleeing and explosions and all of that, which is what I would assume would happen here. Instead, we're hearing a very simplistic just airplane fly over. We're hearing the robot make a little sounds. Jeez. I'm hitting that ramp over and over again and it doesn't seem like it's doing anything. There was an explosion. I don't know what caused that, but I don't even know if there's missions on this.
There's too many of them.
What was this? Was called Earth Defense, right? And see the plunger. Let's see if we can change the cam angle. Like, you're hearing the plunger sound, and it's just not doing anything. Interesting. We've actually found the table that doesn't even work. So maybe it's a narrative that I'm just creating here, but it almost certainly is a narrative I'm just creating here, but it seems like they don't understand the elements of an alien invasion movie either, because they're focusing on the military setting so much and the humans so much and not the aliens. And maybe that was more true to the old 60s, 70s movies about alien invasions, and alien invasions just being fear of being invaded by the Russians or somebody else. But modern times, in 2016, 2017 times, when we see an alien invasion movie, we see the aliens, it's all about the aliens.
If you can hear this message, you're in a danger zone.
You think about Independence Day, the first Independence Day movie. That's what we think about as far as an alien invasion. Explosions and fighting and all of that. Trying to defeat them in other possible ways.
All saved.
I'm getting a decent score here, but
we got a direct order from the president. Next shot.
Every time I get millions and millions of points, like I'm up to 10 million points, and I don't feel I've started a mission or done anything, I don't think I've locked the ball. It just feels like the table is designed to give you a lot of points.
Awesome.
So like 11 million points there, and I didn't have a clue what I was doing, and I don't feel like I really did do anything worth that 11 points. So let's go ahead and look at the achievements while we're here. Fire the cannon on Earth Defense. So there's a cannon. Win the invasion multi-ball. Alright. Now let's look at the table card and quickly scan. It's this huge, unstoppable missions overcome the panic and rid the pinball city of the huge flip bot and its malicious minions. See, it's almost more focused on the robot than anything else. Collect all 10 medals and lead your army directly against the alien ones. Flipbot is angry, so keep the ball on the upper part of the playfield for 10 seconds to cool down those fiery chips. 3 seconds on the lower playfield terminates that. So that's a mission, and I guess you have to hit those drop down targets in front of it to get the ball up there, or like, no, that's not it. Like, keeping the ball on the upper playfield for 30 seconds is really hard considering there's no flippers or bumpers up there, it doesn't seem. Salvation, hit those things. Artillery, set the trajectory from the dot matrix screen so you can do whatever there. Threat level is increased when you go up there, which that's not even the proper threat levels. It should be DEFCON, but yeah, it should be DEFCON. Even if DEFCON didn't exist in the time frame this is supposed to be set, it should be DEFCON. That'd make more sense. Military AI, airstrike, panic multi-ball, H combo, survivor, invasion. You have to hit the captive ball before time runs out, invasion. So while it did say that there is a multi-ball, I did not see in the instructions anything about a multi-ball.
Skill shot.
So the skill shot is just to wait till the target is in line with the
We got a
robot.
direct order from the president.
So I'm not really certain what my goal is here. It seems like I can hit the drop down targets in front of the robot
If you
and
can
I
hear this
can hit
message,
that
you are in a
ramp.
danger zone.
Apparently I started the danger zone mission.
Ball saved.
But what am I supposed to be hitting
Shoot the
now?
ramp.
I was too slow apparently. Artillery, so this is how you start
On their
the
way. Trajectory defined.
so that's how you start missions, is hitting the robot. So it's a little strange considering most tables are more thematically left-handed dominant, I would say. Or left side dominant might be a better way to explain it instead of left-handed. Meaning most of the
They're
shots
taking me away.
are more focused on sending you to the left side. This table is more about
Skill shot.
hitting the right side on the top of the playfield under that robot. I would flip this table if I was designing it. I would, before I changed anything else on here, I'd say the robot should be on the other side. I would also say that it's really, really busy right now on the left side with 2 overpass ramps and the giant UFO and all of that. There's 1 or 2 elements over there that seem like they got squished
If you can hear this
to make
message, you
room
are
for
in a
the
danger
robot.
zone. Awesome.
Which the robots itself is not adding anything to the game, I don't think, because
I'll hold them back.
I don't think it's ever going to pick up the ball or do anything.
Skill shot.
So skill shots are really easy on this. You really have very little excuse for not getting a skill shot every time. Again, though, that's a prime example. I've seen that in some real world pinball tables too. It's just a prime example of not like doing a traditional skill shot, and instead you're making it really, really easy because there's no actual pinball skill there. That's an example of having video game skill, targeting or timing.
We got a direct order from the president.
Strike from behind. So the issue here is it feels like this is just another one of those tables where you could play but never really get anywhere and never really be super excited about it.
There's too many of them.
I'm not dying incredibly early for the score I'm getting. I might be dying incredibly early for the amount of time I'm spending on the table though. No, for these tables it is 7 minutes per play. It isn't terrible. But it feels like there's no variety here. At least so far. Seems like I'm always just gonna try to start a mission, try to finish the mission, or die trying. More likely die trying. Are there really no pop-up bumpers, or are they just hidden way back there where I can't see them? You could have had some UFO pop-up bumpers somewhere. As far as alien elements, this is pretty much what you would do. Aliens, giant robots, military trying to defeat them. I would have some jets and helicopters besides just the sound effects of jets and helicopters. Maybe a rocket ship, a spaceship, maybe NASA. I would probably try to use, let's see, let's do
Zero Alpha is in position. Trajectory defined.
I would have the sound effect of people screaming. Like in Panic, we don't have that mood getting set here. There we go. There's some people screaming. But it took him a while to finally play that sound effect.
If you can hear this message, you are in a danger zone.
So I think I might be in the mission where I'm supposed to keep the ball in the upper playfield. But maybe not. So he's shooting the floor and it actually affected the ball. That is interesting.
Troops are on their way.
Maybe more gunshots and explosions. You really want to try to establish a war zone, I would say, in this game at all times, and not have this upbeat music playing the whole time and then, like this music doesn't work at all. It really doesn't work. I'd have some alien noises, like hearing them speak in some fictional language. Now, the kind of famous pinball table that integrated a holograms and well, it's not really a hologram as it is a magic trick using mirrors and a screen. What it did is it made the entire upper playfield invisible and then projected the screen on it, so in different modes the pinball table looked completely different on the upper playfield. Now, in reality,
There's too many of them.
the pinball playfield was probably rather simple in the part you couldn't see, but it worked nicely. And that was the first integration of like a full screen into it. And the idea, and they did it at least a couple times, is that you could change the theme of the table pretty easily. They would just send you some new backboard art and new stickers and stuff, and then you just load in a different file. And it was alien themed, and it had a mission where you would hit different ways to stop incoming flying saucers, and it had a video screen mode .matrix game where you played missile defense, which is you shoot missiles and stop UFOs from happening. So same concept, but in one. Let's see.
Roger, 6-4 troops are on their way.
This is the one to keep the ball around the back. So I have to keep it around 6 seconds, and I'm about to lose. That's a terrible mission. That is a terrible, terrible mission because you're either gonna lose or you're gonna win really, really fast. And that's kind of a waste of time.
Skill shot.
Yeah, so in that real-world table game, pinball game, having the same mission twice in a different way was a really genius way to add a simple theme of aliens attacking and defending against the aliens attacking in your spaceships, and play it twice. They did not certainly learn when they made this table. I'm sure that real world table was out when this table was made. And I guess the question is, how much can they steal from a real world table before they get sued? That is nibbling at the back of my mind, is perhaps it isn't that Zen doesn't know how to make pinball tables. Perhaps it is that there are just so many like licenses and copyrights and patents to pinball that they couldn't copy things without paying a ton of money. If that was the case though, then Zen should have just given up at the first step in the research phase. If he found out that there are just patents on different styles of pinball elements, which I'm not sure is the case. If you can hear this message, you are in a danger zone. You would have just said, "Well, forget it. We can't do this," because we'd be so limited. And instead of doing that, they just made limited tables. In this theoretical sense, that there are a bunch of like patents and copyrights, which I don't know if there actually are for pinball. It may be a wild, wild west. You may be able to do everything. I wouldn't even be surprised if that was the case, because pinball tables are so old. There may have been people that owned patents and such that have now gone into the open domain. So then I just have to end that speculation and go back to, I just don't think Zen cares or knows how to make fun pinball. Which is sad that I kind of have to say it every time. This table's not terrible though. This is actually one of the good ones. I'm sitting here alright with it. Kind of bored with it, certainly just talking about other things.
Squad deployed.
We'll try the City Destroyer again. There's not too much to be able to criticize here. When there's not a lot to criticize, then I don't have too much to say. Did I succeed or did I fail there?
Airstrike!
Airstrike multi-ball. So, how did we just start that multi-ball? We landed in a place we've probably landed before, but this time it did something different. That kind of gets to the core of the problem of a lot of the tables, is you'll do one target, one sinkhole target, one drop-down target, one lane, and from my perspective, it would be a very mundane action that I've done many times before, yet for some reason, in this example, this one instance, it decides that it's going to do something completely different. breathing. Landing on the medal. There's an achievement for earning all the medals. I don't know what we have to do that. Have we maxed out the jackpot, or is there something more? Is the For Freedom sound effect the jackpot? That was a shocking surprise when I played a table and it literally said jackpot maxed out. You can't get any more points in this multi-ball mode. And usually I'm not looking at the dot matrix screen for it to say something like that. But I kind of feel like this might be the case right now too. That we're making nominal amounts of score because I've exhausted the jackpot. So I keep going in that hole.
If you hear this message, you are in a danger zone. Awesome.
So I guess we're rescuing survivors now, looking for shooting the flashing ramps. And anytime I try to hit a ramp, that's usually when the stress goes up and I mess up. It's much easier just to keep the ball in play, just to be happy that the ball went up and not down. It's a very binary system in pinball, I suppose. I want the ball to go up pretty much always, and never down the playfield. So how long have we been playing? Almost 30 minutes. And again, while there's nothing wrong with this table, there's nothing appealing to this table. Also, it's even if I was somehow obsessed with alien invasion movies, which I don't think there are too many people like that, considering they don't make too many of them. I don't think there's anything here that would appeal even to somebody with that niche fandom.
Ball saved.
I really don't like how this ball is saved. It's getting shot right back at the flippers to potentially just drain into the gutter again. Yeah, in every way I don't like how these balls are launched.
We got a direct order from
it's not as big of an issue as a lot of other things, though. Let's see if we could just... I would... If you're gonna have the robot with the big circle in the front of its chest, I would put a magnet there and a ramp to jump up and hit the robot. That would be cool. Or I would integrate the robot's blaster so you could lock a ball in it and then have the robot shoot out 3 balls in a multi-ball mode. It's kind of weird it's just there. I guess maybe Fire the Cannon does do that, but I haven't been able to activate the Fire the Cannon thing. Destroy Salvation.
on their way.
Being indecisive on the left missions. We've done all the missions and they've so far proven to be uninteresting. At least on the Star Wars Force Masters of the Force Pinball, much like Star Wars Episode 4, there was a lot of ambition there. There was playfields, there was jumps, there was really some interesting concepts and new things that we haven't seen on other Pinball FX tables. Here it's just more ramps, more drop-down targets, more sinkholes. It seems like that's all they even know exists. And they have no interesting ways to apply these very common pinball elements. It's kind of a shame that there's not, like, if I was going to make Pinball FX3, I would think you would have a full-on pinball editor at this point, where the players can make their own tables. That actually might work really well, because if players could make their own tables and, say, share them to Steamworks, then people could thematically violate copyright without getting caught too much. It'd be really easy with a pinball editor to remake some of your favorite pinball things. You would have to have some system for programming the missions and audio files and all that, but you could in general have the basic table and gameplay, if not the same theme and feeling of it. Back to Meticulously. What am I actually trying to hit in Meticulously? I think the center lane or the robot. Robot seems like something that we're actually targeting. Ball save, metal earned.
Ball save.
It's 3, 2, 1, and it just ended. See, why? Why in the world does that happen? That's unacceptably bad to end multi-ball just because the game wants me to move forward. I've never seen a real pinball table do something like this. It's an insane thought.
Ball save.
You can see the table is kind of slow to realize that there are 2 balls on the table and adjust the camera appropriately. Now there's 3 on the table. So it's adding more and more based on what's something I'm doing here. And it's over again, and it just drains out again. Oh, incredibly frustrating. Wow. It just gets back to that, now upgraded to the first rule of pinball in my head. Don't slow down or stop the gameplay. Don't get in the way of a pinball wizard playing pinball. That's all most pinball fans want to do. They just want to play pinball. They will suffer through a bad table. They will put up with a silly theme. They will play something that's too difficult. They just want to play. The one thing that they can't tolerate is when you won't let them play.
Roger, 6-4. Troops are on their way.
When you're locking the flippers and I can't go any further, that's not cool. When you're putting ridiculously short timers on missions, that's not cool. Way too much resilience on these drop-down targets. I think I just succeeded and got 5 million for my effort. Nice. Not a big fan of the lanes that you hit and you end up back at the same place where you were. That's too easy to do loops and just go in circles over and over again. Let's try.
Delta Squad deployed. Trajectory defined.
There we go.
Fantastic.
metal earned again. Seems like I would need to get 4 more medals. However you would do that. I'm not sure what is actually earning the medals. You know, whether those are, you get medals when you finish a mission or what. Again, the whole medal theme seems more like a
Delta Squad deploy.
It seems more like a military themed pinball table than a Earth defense from aliens table. I guess if they really wanted to be more about a military defending Earth, there should be more than just aliens in the giant robot that assumedly is built by aliens. There should be like giant kaiju Godzillas. There should be earthquakes. And if they were gonna do that, they probably could have gotten a license for like the U.S. Army National Guard or something, and then just had real world things like flood, hurricane, tornado, evacuation, widespread panic, and they could have just made a proper. Let's see, which one of these am I going to pick? I have no idea. Make it a real propaganda piece for the National Guard. If they wanted to be so military. I think somebody does have kind of a fandom for the military, considering that the Captain America was the old school Captain America table too, which was pretty militaristic propaganda, just like the old school comics for Captain America were. But I don't know why you would do that spin on it. I don't know why you would call this Earth defense and not alien invasion. I don't think you're gonna get more kids interested by focusing on the defense part. And that's really, really funny because pinballs in general have very boring, bland names. They never really got into the whole game of thinking up ridiculous names for their games. Like video games in comparison have really, really crazy names that makes them easier to remember and recognize. So I don't know what point I was making there.
Reinforcements have arrived.
It was a skill shot that time. Alright.
Save me.
I think the point I was trying to make there was that alien invasion would just make more sense as a general concept name.
Delta Squad deployed. Trajectory defined.
There's no main character here, also. You need, like, you're playing as a sergeant, somebody. You need, the pinball table needs to make that clear. You're playing as some kind of military person. Whether you're a sergeant, a general, or whatever, or you're playing as the President of the United States, which, you know, of course you're not. You could probably make a decent President of the United States pinball table, because you could go with all the presidents up to a certain point and name them all. You could have an Oval Office, which would be a great upper play field. You could have podiums, stump speeches, war room briefings, a really kind of adult concept there I could easily turn into an interesting pinball table. And you wouldn't have to get too political with it, because you could say, oh, we'll just go up to Kennedy or something. Or, well, we'll only mention like the generally beloved founding fathers of Abraham and George Washington, Andrew Jackson, all of them. Even if you stopped at like Garfield, not too many people would think you were taking a political leaning there. You could do campaigning at the very beginning and work towards
Delta Squad deployed.
Towards getting elected, and maybe getting elected gives you like a bonus multiplier, and then re-elected gives you like, well, you could do the first ball lock for multi-ball is getting elected, and then the second ball lock is being the first term, and the second term is the third ball lock. I don't know if you could really do, you would have to start as the president, I think, because it'd suck to start a game like that and not there. But yeah, that would work rather well. Big red phone, big red button for a super mega ball. You press the red button and start World War III.
There's too many of them!
And this line of thinking is only slightly related to Earth defense, because this table is boring. And I don't particularly know how to save it. It just needs something, anything basically. Any new element, any new implementation. Something that happens really fast. It needs probably more sinkhole targets, it needs pop-up bumpers, it probably has enough drop-down targets. It needs some things moved around, it needs to be flipped so the robot's on the left side. It needs to remove a little bit on the left, or spread out some of the stuff on the left because it's all scrunched together. Get rid of the UFO because that's not doing anything. Get rid of that UFO and put in some UFOs that actually do this. There needs to be like a biological warfare thought that
We got a direct order from the president.
that you could find something the aliens are allergic to. It needs the sound effects to play a lot more and the music to be gone to make it feel like a war zone.
Delta Squad deployed.
Needs better missions. See, the table just shook when I hit the bumper, which that shouldn't ever happen. The table shaking on its own.
Hurry up!
It feels like I'm just hitting the same two ramps over and over again, and the same like two sinkhole targets over and over again. I probably am. Is that because I'm bad at the table? Possibly, very possibly, but a lot of people are going to be bad at pinball tables to begin with. The question is all about, can you make a table that keeps people's attention?
There's too many of them!
And most of these Zen tables can't.
Reinforcements have arrived!
Almost had it
If you
there.
can hear this message, you're in a danger zone.
Yeah, when you do that, ramp, it puts you in the danger zone, which I don't know if that's a hurry up combo or what. But either way, I don't like the concept of him shooting on the field and negatively affecting where my ball is going to end up.
Nice shot.
Trying to hit this ramp over here on the left. There we go, the lock is lit. So where do we lock the ball? Like, where do we lock the ball? That is the question. I'm keeping the ball in play, so I can't really be upset about it. But nothing's happening.
They're taking me away.
Nothing is happening at all. I have being so critical of so many tables here. I really do have to, at a certain point, just ask myself, have I dropped the ball? Have I failed as a critic? Or is the game just bad? And I think the game is just bad.
Zero Alpha is in position. Trajectory defined.
But you never know. There's certainly games I've played where I was not interested in playing that game style at all. There's certainly styles of games where I'm not going to be a good objective voice anyways. I do love pinball though, so it's not like I just hate all pinball things.
We got a direct order from the president.
And I am trying to be critical here, so I am criticizing. This isn't a sales pitch channel that's designed to just make everything sound great. But when you have nothing but bad things to say, you do have to step back and check yourself as best as I can. Of course, it's really easy for a critic of a critic to say, yeah, your criticism is wrong and valid, which can't possibly be true because criticism has always been subjective, which means like it's always just an opinion, and no opinion is the wrong opinion.
Fantastic.
Almost an opinion, yeah, I would say. I suppose the only way I could scientifically prove these tables to be bad is maybe run a comparison of highly reviewed tables and see how many elements have similarities. Like make a super powerful program to 3D scan real world tables that have been highly liked and then compare these models to them. Or you could do sampling of a large enough sample group. How long have we been playing now? Let's see, 50 minutes, one more game. Again, this is just going to be one of those recordings where we're not going to go a full hour, I don't think. I can barely stand to go an hour. I knew it was a little ambitious in the first place to say I'd play each table for an hour, but I really didn't want to give myself that time to warm up on every table, have the best chance possible. But most of these tables don't deserve to be played an hour. Most of the tables I would play them for once or twice and then possibly never play them again. who knows, maybe in a year I'll come back and play every table again, but just once. But probably wouldn't record that. Of course, that's kind of my entire Steam library in a nutshell, is a lot of that stuff is just in my collection in case I ever want to play it again. A lot of them, the games I have on Steam, I've played on other systems, and I bought them again to hopefully have a lifetime supply permanent ownership of the game, or more than lifetime even. Maybe pass games on to a second generation. Glory to Earth. 5 million. A medal awarded. It feels like I should have gotten
this message, you're in a danger zone.
both achievements by now, but apparently I haven't. Like, still don't really know how to launch the cannon. And
Mission initiated.
that's weird that the data mode was available to do again. I think after finishing it and succeeding, the table would stop me from doing it again until I finish all the others. That's a fair thing to do in my opinion.
There's too many of them.
Because obviously if you could start the same mission over and over again without any work, and that at the end of that mission you get 5 million, you're dangerously close to becoming a repetitively boring, high-scoring player by just doing the same thing over and over again.
Got a direct order from the president. Airstrike!
Multiple again.
Hurry up!
All safe.
Most of the time when we do these multi-balls, they're not very fun too. They're just like, I don't know where I'm actually aiming. I don't know what I'm actually doing, and I'm not having that very standard jackpot just scream. Like, that is what I, when we played the soccer table, and you scored, and there was fireworks going off, and it was the crowd cheering, and all of that. That's the style and the amount of, well, not the style per se, but the amount of applause I would prefer to have every time I get a jackpot. Make it quick, just make the guy go jackpot. It's so familiar a sound that it is missed deeply when it doesn't happen. So this guy's saying for freedom. Does that mean jackpot? Or does that mean something completely different? Is there a jackpot? Is there a super jackpot? Score multipliers? Do those go up? Jackpot multipliers? Do those go up? Like, I'm not even sure this table has those score multipliers.
Angel 5 is going down.
Angel 5.
Retreat! I'll hold them back.
And I believe that was it.
Awesome.
So I got 23. Never beat my 32 million, but 32 million is a decent score. Unearned score, I would say, definitely. It adds to my rest of my other scores, gives me a super score of 1,389. Multiply that by the 32 tables I've played now. I have a wizard score of 44,448. Wow, 4 points off, and it would have been all 4s. Let's go back to the main menu. So not a bad table, definitely, but not an interesting table either. The all-time high scores, we have 1 billion, 1 billion, 1 billion, all the way down to 500 million. This table actually feels like you probably could get 500 million. This actually doesn't feel like anybody's cheating too much. If anybody is cheating at all on any of them. I speculate that there probably are, but if I can get 32 million without doing anything, I think somebody could probably be 10 times as good as me and get 300 million, 20 times as good as me and get 600 million, and maybe even 40 times as good as me and get 101 billion 200 million, which would be right here. So yeah, that's kind of the first playfield where I've said that seems doable. The super score here, it may be doable on all the high scores for all the tables. It's just it doesn't seem like it, and it's perception here more than actuality. Super scores, however, people are clearly cheating. 3 billion super score, 2 billion super score, then they jump down to 400,000, well 3 million, 2 million, 400,000, then all the way down to 74,000, which, as far as super score goes, aren't I at 44,000 right now? Like, what's my super score? Let's see if we can see this. My super score is 1,389. Okay, so I'm not. His Legacy Pinball Wizard, where I have a score of 2. So interesting. On the leaderboards, Legacy Super Score, Legacy Pinball Wizard, and Legacy All Time. So you can clear this and see that people were cheating and they had to reset it at some point because they just couldn't even stop the people from cheating, and it still feels like people are cheating to this day. So they may have at this point just completely given up on a leaderboard system, which, you know what, fine, get rid of the leaderboard system and do a online spectate system. Do online like hot seat multiplayer. That wouldn't be too hard to say, alright, now you're gonna play, and then your friend's gonna watch, and now your friend's gonna play, and then you're gonna watch, and integrate that into it. That would work well. Let's see, challenge, still no friends. Pinball King, still no friends. Local high score, we got 32 million. The top high score seemed to only be 500 million anyway. 5 million, not 500 million. So I could probably easily play 2 more games and get all of the leaderboard filled with my initials of AAA. It's not worth it to put in your initials. That is another flaw in Pinball FX in general, is that they just don't remember your initials. That would be as easy as saving your initials to a text file and checking what they were, and have that set by default, and then hit B to change it if you want to go back. It's not that difficult, but it's missing, like a lot of things are missing in this game. Anyways, next time we're going to do Fantastic Four, which haven't been huge successes in the movie elements, but maybe it'll be better in the video game elements. And then we'll do episode not 4, but let's see, 5 or 6. I think this is episode 6 because it's out of order. Seems really weird because episode episode 6 is here, but then episode 5 is here. Doesn't really matter, we'll just go in the order that is on the table. They should fix that certainly though, but then episode 7 here, in theory I suppose, should be at the very end then. And then after we do the Star Wars, we'll come back and do Mars. And as we continue through these cycles, we are going to slowly run out of tables, which is fine by me. That's it for this recording. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment if you want to, and watch every second of my videos. I hope that helps out. If you want to support me further, you can click on my name, Rydo. On the right will be a blue button that says support this channel. Click it, make a donation. And if you want to friend or follow me on basically any social media sites, there's a whole bunch of links down below. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.